People often say Rwandans enjoy comic, light, and unserious content. We refuse to believe that. The Voices podcast is here to help you get all the information you need if you are one of those people that are interested in informative, educative, and inspirational content. The Voices podcast is hosted by Arafat. We're here to give you all the information that you've been yearning to get in Rwanda. If you're one of those people, then welcome to the Voices podcast. Yeah, the Voices podcast.
The patriarchy is strong because the money, the voice, and the power is still the hands of men, mostly the oppressors, if I would say. Well, I don't want to say that the rich are oppressors. No, this is not what I mean. But, when the money and the voice and the power is not shared, still there is high likeliness that there is still the group of people that will continue to be oppressed. So the patriarchy is strong, and it changes faces all the time. So, when the feminism started, it was about just asking to be allowed to vote. That is something that the first feminists were able to do. Women can vote. In different areas in the world, they can vote, and that's something that it's a feminist win. But the reason why I say that patriarchy changed faces is because the more the world change, the more also it changes with also the patriarchy system. Let me give you an example. One of the things that the first feminists were fighting for, there wasn't online cyberbullying or something like that. But when you see now, this is something, one of the things that people are fighting against, because it's kind of also oppressing women a lot, especially when it comes to shutting their voices down. I know so many gender activists, so many feminists who are no longer using social media. They're working behind the curtain because of, being bullied a lot. Sometimes their families coming in by and being oppressed as well. And people write terrible things about you. And you find out that, there is a fight that is happening. There is a lot of steps that we have made. Because when you see today, you visit a household, you find out that a father is feeding the kid.
Hello, viewers. Thank you so much for joining us at the Voices podcast once again. Today, I'm joined by an expert in gender and equity. Is it? Gender
and inclusion.
And inclusion. And today, we want to talk about gender and inclusion. And of course, it's not good to introduce someone who has many hats, and it's not easy actually to describe such people. I'll let her describe herself. To someone who doesn't know who is Leonne, what would you tell them? How do they really know you? What is it would you tell them to describe yourself?
Well, first and foremost, I am a woman. I love the fact that I'm a girl. I'm a princess.
Really?
Yes. So I am Leonne Laura Uwizihiwe, so call me Laura. It's easier. And so I am starting my 40s now. I am.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You in 40s?
Do I look young?
You look
I am
very
starting.
young.
Yes.
You look very, very young.
Yeah, okay. So I think that's a compliment. We don't like to be old. And
I like that. You look very, very young, for
Thank
sure.
you. So I am I've been working, I think, for 17 years now. And
for 17 years?
Yes.
Wow.
For 17 years. And I am a firstborn daughter. I will tell you later the reason why I say that.
Okay, that's good.
Yes, and I am a mother of 3. I'm a wife of an amazing person. Amazing, my best friend.
Really?
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Yes, I think he's the person who is pushing me through all of this, navigating life.
Sure.
Yes, I think he's the best choice I've made.
Yeah, they always say that if you want to succeed, if you want to progress in life, if you want to be better, all starts with the partner you choose to be with.
Yes. I wouldn't say that it was about a choice because I was young. Actually, relationships, marriage situations change people. So, like, I don't blame people who get into marriage and it doesn't work because with situations, people change. I wouldn't say that I chose right. I'd say that, we helped
It
each
landed
other.
on you.
It landed on me. It landed on
I
me.
like that.
Yes, and continuing with that, I am I'm employee. I work for an organization called African Institute for Mathematical Science, and I'm a director for gender and inclusion. Then what else do I say? I am doing my PhD at University of Rwanda still.
Wow, congrats.
Still in gender and development. So I'm wearing many hats, as you said, and
sure.
here I am. Yeah.
I mean, I would love to hear your story. You've gone from teaching in Rwama, Ghana. You taught in Kepler and diversity. Gender inclusion, diversity and gender inclusion.
Yes.
And you've now at Ames. Are you still at Kepler?
No, I'm at Ames.
Okay. So I want us to understand how. I mean, when did you realize that this is the right time for you to go into gender studies? And is it something you grew up wanting to do? Or, tell us your story of, your career up to now.
Actually, growing up, I have never thought that I will be in gender and inclusion. Actually, it's something that I never heard about when I was growing up. Basically, because I said I'm a firstborn daughter. I was born to... My father is a lawyer. He was a lawyer. He's retired now. And to a business lady as well. So growing up, for me, I never had any issue of being a woman, being a girl. I had, access to education. I have never been, excluded because I'm a girl. The treatment my brothers got is the same treatment that I got. So I have never known the kind of difference women and men are having in the society till I went into secondary education. We go into boarding schools. I went to FAWE girls' school, and my first encounter was going to school, and the second term, some of the girls did not come because they were married. So there was a culture of guterura, especially in the Mutara side. And I was like, okay, we are 11.
In the eastern province side of Rwanda.
Yes. I was like, we are 11, 12. How do people get married to that age? And this is when I started to learn that there are actually many things that are happening to girls that I wasn't aware of. But also at FAWE, we're kind of exposed to such thing, being mentored, learning to speak up. I have never thought that a girl would be taught to speak up about her problems, because it has always been, I have always been like that, speaking up at home. Of course, because my family is also traditional, sometimes my mom would say, hey, calm down. But my father was always keen on me stepping forward, being myself. He always wanted me to be a lawyer one day. And I grew up within a family that my mom, being a business person, she always had money for herself. If we wanted something related to money, it was always to mom. So I have never encountered any
discrimination or exclusion from the...
in my own family. So I started realizing that when I went into secondary education, and it would hurt me so much. And even out of FAWE, going into, I went to Groupe Scolaire Officier, Butare. Most of the struggling students that we could see, they're either coming from a single mother household or from an irresponsible father. And all of that to me was that if women could have access to money, access to education, I think we couldn't be seeing a lot of troubled, or people who are not able to, to get what they're supposed to get. So I started seeing it as, inequalities, and I started to know there are things men are allowed to do, women are not allowed to do. So I think this is where the spark came from. So when I went into teaching, I started with law school in ELK, but then I got a scholarship, government scholarship. I went into education because I think that I love education because it's more where you influence many people. And I went into education, and this is how I went into teaching. But even when I was doing teaching, I was still doing gender and inclusion, because every school I taught in, I had created either a club for girls, or I had led an initiative maybe for menstrual health and hygiene. And even my award for Women of Courage 2018 that I got from US Embassy, I got it when I was still teaching. It's not when I was at Kepler that I got it. So I think I have always been there. I grew up looking at those inequalities. I haven't experienced it myself till late. When you're a woman, there is no way you say you will never face inequalities. I faced them a lot. But when I was a child, I was protected. I haven't seen that. So, which means that opening eyes was when I was out of my household. Yeah. So getting into the career, I would say when I went to Kepler, I went there as a teacher. As a course facilitator, this is how they used to call. So
co-facilitator.
Yeah, it was just an upgrade from teaching to secondary school to teaching to university. I did not go to Kepler for diversity and inclusion. But that spark that was in me, I was always asking in the meetings issues for women, like why don't we have comfortable chairs for pregnant women? Every comment that comes from me into the meetings about inclusion. Why don't we have a certain number of girls here and there? What is happening? And then this is when this position was created, and I was asked if I can lead that office. And I started as diversity and inclusion manager, and that went after to be associate director for gender and inclusion and humanitarian affairs. Yes.
Wow. At the same institution?
Yes, same institution. I worked for Kepler for 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. So from Kepler to
Ames.
To Ames. Wow. You've not taught at the University of Rwanda?
No.
Okay.
I studied at University of Rwanda. Yes.
So let's talk about something real here. I mean, 10 years ago or 15 years ago, when gender equality conversations actually started to rise and so many people were talking about it, I mean, that is something for you that you experienced when you were young, and you developed that passion to help, to support, and to see that at least what the other gender can achieve, also the other one can get it. But of course, I mean, like a decade and a half ago, the world started really to give much effort into this, to put much effort into gender equality and inclusion. But the way you see it, where are we coming from and where are we today? How do you see it? I mean, do you think really the patriarchal system is being cracked down, or it's something that it's not easy going? It's easy to have it down.
Well, the patriarchy system is strong.
Because it's all what you just mentioned earlier in the first in your first statements. It was about patriarchy.
Yes.
That boys or men were really getting things that girls were not getting. That's why maybe I brought in the patriarchy part of it.
Yes. Yeah, the patriarchy is strong because the money, the voice, and the power is still the hands of men, mostly the oppressors, if I would say. Well, I don't want to say that the rich are oppressors. No, this is not what I mean. But, when the money and the voice and the power is not shared, still there is high likeliness that there is still the group of people that will continue to be oppressed. So the patriarchy is strong, and it changes faces all the time. So, when the feminism started, it was about just asking to be allowed to vote. That is something that the first feminists were able to do. Women can vote in different areas in the world. They can vote, and that's something that it's a feminist win. But the reason why I say that patriarchy change faces is because the more the world change, the more also it changes with also the patriarchy system. Let me give you an example. One of the things that the first feminists were fighting for, there wasn't online cyberbullying or something like that. But when you see now, this is something, one of the things that people are fighting against, because it's kind of also oppressing women a lot, especially when it comes to shutting their voices down. I know so many gender activists, so many feminists who are no longer using social media. They're working behind the curtain because of, being bullied a lot. Sometimes their families coming in by and being oppressed as well. And people write terrible things about you. And you find out that, there is a fight that is happening. There is a lot of steps that we have made. Because when you see today, you visit a household, you find out that a father is feeding the kid, a father is cleaning. It's now more, which means that there are a lot of steps that we were able to make, which I really applaud people who were able to make it happen. We have women in every institution now. Even those that are male-dominated, at least you find one or two women around them. So that's a progress. We made a very big progress, but it means that patriarchy also, change shapes. And this is mainly why most of the time when we continue the fight, people are asking, but you got everything. What else do you need?
But what is everything, for sure?
So everything is about, when they say everything is about, maybe they're saying access to education. Maybe they're saying access to jobs. Maybe they're saying access to inheritance. Maybe they're saying, access, having a bank account, being able to vote. So those kind of big visible things that you can see. But people forget that it took so much energy for people to get there. So if you close your eyes a little, it can again be taken away. So gusigasira ibyagezweho is very is very important. This is why the activists continue even to struggle. And even though they say, some people say that women got everything, no, they did not. I might have access to bank account. I may have access to, if I tell you, for instance, something that I observed recently, when me and my husband, we actually like, to buy and sell lands kind of stuff. When you buy a land, you're not required to bring your partner, but when you sell, it's a requirement. So then
I know that.
Then I remember that there is one time I bought something when I went to the notary. They are lawyers. They're supposed to know what the law says. And they asked me where my husband is. Why isn't your husband here? He's never asked about that. So they do not trust that I had the money to purchase something without, so they want my husband's approval. And on the like
on the land title. On the agreement.
The agreement, they would just write like the husband's name, married to, they write your name, has or bought, has, in Kinyarwanda is what it means, like aguze, like as he is the one.
He's the one who has bought the land.
He's the one who has bought. So the role you played is marrying him. And I asked him, so, no, I am the one who bought this. Why can't you write this and this, married to this, both bought, baguze? Why should they said, no, this is the template, this is how it should be. It should be written. So to me, I had to fight, but there are many people around there. There is sometimes you just give up to that battle because.
But if I'm to interrupt, what problem does that have?
So the problem that it has, first of all, it means it discourages like women like me who want to invest into kind of stuff. Of course.
Because you feel like still, even if you invest, it's going to be recorded to the husband.
It's not yours, because in Kinyarwanda it's very well outlined. It is your husband who is married to you who has bought this. But it is easy to say that this person married to this person, they both bought, or something like that. So for that, actually, I also heard that in the land center that now women are the biggest number of landowners, which is, it's good. Because I think that they now started to have access to that. But if we want to encourage people to invest, we need to be able, of course, I don't want to remove my husband to that, but how can we encourage both genders to be able to understand that, okay, it's a shared commitment, it's a shared, property.
It can't be just affiliated to one person.
Then it gives me that courage to continue just, looking even for more, because I feel like, when you have done something good, impressive, to get money to buy land here is quite so challenging. You need someone to tap on your back and say you did well, so that it feels like you're also you.
But still, the person you want to tap on you saying you did well is the one who is considered to be the owner of the land.
No, so not that one. Even the law itself, if it says that it is 50-50, then I need to feel that. Not only just someone telling me, okay, you did well, but still when you go into documentation, the role I played is to marry someone. So I think that it encourages more women to even to own things, even to have the courage to work for that. Yeah.
But you've talked about how some feminists these days work behind closed doors because they don't want to go to the public, feeling to be abused, and their life is made difficult online. But I want us to be really fair here and have a casual talk about this. Do you think the feminists played it well? You're an expert, you're really experienced in this, and you know how this should be played. Do you think our Rwandan feminists played the role well online, or they jumped into it without knowing how to navigate the journey?
I don't think that they jumped in it without knowing the journey. I think they started uncomfortable conversation. They started uncomfortable conversation that people are not, ready to hear. And in many ways, they also confronted the institutions, even individuals that most of people feel they were untouchable. And in that end, this is where the backlashes came by. But I also feel that it was like 2, 3, 4 feminists that maybe could have seen, and it was the umbrella. Like, people feel like this is where the feminist starts and this is where the feminist ends, which I think people were so wrong, because there are many feminists who do not engage online, who engage offline. And the feminists themselves who engage online, they also engage offline. And I like the fact that even though their lives were not made easier online, but they started a conversation that was uncomfortable, but there were so many other people who were born to continue the conversation. There are a lot of things that changed from that conversations. I remember one of them was about parading girls who were like wearing mini skirts and all of that. There are things that have started to change, even though it gave them this kind of, not made it easier for them online, and went through their personal lives. Every war has martyrs and victims. For me, I applaud their courage to start those kind of conversations. There were there are even things they said that time that to many people did not make sense. But if you bring that conversation today, you find out that what they were saying was true. So for me, I think that there are kind of different feminists. There are feminists who are kind of diplomatic. I don't want to bring to put tags on them, but I find out that there are kind of differences. There are those who are not scared to bring up a conversation that will be uncomfortable to many people. There are others who will play it, slowly with different approaches. But all I know is that the goal is the same. So,
But do you think most of the conversations that you say are uncomfortable to many people, do you think they are only uncomfortable to one gender? Or do you think there are also people who are in the setting of your gender that feel uncomfortable?
yes, sure. It's not uncomfortable to one gender. The same as the discussion were not uncomfortable to all men, the same as it was not comfortable to all women. So what I mean is that there are conversations that feminists started, and there are men who went through those kind of experiences, or those who understand, those whom we call allies, who understand. It's not like all men become uncomfortable with feminist conversations, because there are men who are already advanced in that, who are knowledgeable about that. But there are also women, especially women who grow up into, when you do not have experience of another life that is different, sometimes you intend to believe that the life you have passed through is the right direction, especially maybe women who, if I would say, who have been, benefiting from the patriarchal system, because there are women who benefit from the patriarchy, would still want to hold it. They call them patriarchy queens. They want to keep.
What is like one example of women who are benefiting from the patriarchal system? What do you mean? Because someone might not understand.
So, we have examples of, women who have, who can be put in front line because, to serve as role models to other women, who have had access to resources even way before, who are privileged, who have never had any problem before. And those women are said to be examples for other women. But you forget that these are women who are privileged from the beginning, who have never encountered any challenges, who have never encountered any constraints. They tend to believe that other women who are complaining about their rights are drama queens, because they have never lived their lives. So it means that the patriarchal system had protected them from being abused. Or maybe it could be coincidence you have never been abused. Most of the time when you see like rape cases, you could see even women who would just, dismiss the case, or say that, sometimes women lie. They just dismiss the case like that, because it's not their experience, it's not their shared experience. They have seen themselves navigating life through patriarchal system, and they don't believe that other women have gone through, those issues. Yeah.
Seriously, why I asked you that question is that I consider myself, someone who sidelines with women's having full rights to what a man can have. But I'm also that person who thinks that you can never be a man and I can never be a woman. I think you agree that those are two things that are really different.
Yes.
And I think it takes just you understanding that you're not a man and I am not a woman. But that does not take away the fact that we have the rights.
I think maybe if I comment on that, I don't know if there is any feminist or any woman who ever complained that they want to be a man, because I believe that men and women are differentiated by two things. There is sex and there is gender. So for sex, it's biology, how you were born, what makes you to be a man. It's the genetics, it's the chromosomes. It's what makes you, something you cannot change without technology, right? And that's also what makes me a woman. A man cannot breastfeed, I can breastfeed. A man does not menstruate, I menstruate. So those are aspects that we cannot change. I cannot be a man in that sense. But what we are fighting for, the rights, are on the side of gender, not the side of the sex. So let me explain this. What I'm looking for is access to finance.
Is a man only made by sex?
Yes.
Are you for real?
So I want to explain. Sex is not the organ that I mean. It
No.
goes with it.
Yes. Okay, go on.
It goes with the chromosomes and the genetics and all of that. So
How about the functionality?
the functionality, the reason why I think a man is not made of, the functionality doesn't make a man
sense.
to be a man, is because you are a fat sitting here. You have the same biological features with the man who is in Nyabihu. But the way you function, the way you think, the way you navigate life could be different because of exposure, environment, education. The Arafat you see today, your functionality might change in 10 years because the Arafat who is a man today will continue to be Arafat who is a man the other time, but the functionality will change because of where you will be, because what you will have, because of what you will achieve or what you have lost. To mean that the functionality changes. The same as women, our functionality changes. So if we consider a man according to the functionality, we'll have man A up to man Z, because men also do not function the same way.
I agree. Absolutely.
Yes. So for that, I think that you're a man because, you have these genetics, you have, but the way I think today is not fueled by the reason that I'm a woman. It is fueled by the education I received. It's fueled by the job I do. It's fueled by the family around me. It is fueled by the books I read, which is different from the functionality of another woman.
Same applies to a man who's not doing
Same
that.
applied to a man. So we might have commonalities because of hormones, of course, because of our hormones. But also remember, our hormones are also not functioning the same because of how we treat ourselves, because of how we eat, because of the environment we are into. Women can be emotional. We can all be emotional. But what makes me emotional is different from what makes another woman emotional. So for me, I think that I cannot be a man. I don't want to be a man, but I cannot be a man because biologically I was born a woman. If I want to be a man, I will have to go through technology to change that. But when it comes to how we think, to what we own, to how we navigate life, this goes with how the upbringing, the background, the traumas that we have gone through. For sure, you will see a lot of men who do not think straight like I do, because they have never had.
I like that. And it's absolutely very true.
Yes, you will see a lot of men who are very emotional than women, because these women maybe grew up within, a lot of hardships that they cannot shed any tear.
Cannot be shaken.
They cannot be shaken. But if we take away the fact that someone cries and takes away his ability of being a man, we will find out that we are actually oppressing even people because of how they function, because we tend to take this to be a woman's issue. I think when we talk about patriarchy is not actually oppressing women only. It's oppressing men a lot, in a way people do not talk about. You see, it has placed financial burden to men. That's number one. Men should be provider and protectors and all of that. Today, you find out that, someone...
But that's from the genesis of the world.
That's from the genesis of the world, which I agree, because, they are strong, they can go to hunt, they can go to war and all of that. But as the world change, today I might have a job that is, 10 times the salary of what my husband earns. So a woman who has earned a lot of money, taking care of her goes with her standards. It doesn't go with the man's standard. Then, which means that this man is going to have a lot of financial burden to be able to take care of that woman who is in this standard and the children whom the woman wants them to study in certain schools, because, the people she works with take their children here and there. So to mean that a man is going to have a lot of pressure. But if women have always been taught that financial burden is a shared burden. Trust me, we wouldn't see men, losing it because they cannot take care of the family while their wives are able to take care of the families. So I think that patriarchy is not only oppressing women, it's oppressing men on the other side. The world is changing, and I think our mindset should also change. Erega, if we look at what is happening here, the situation are changing, women are having access to opportunities. And in that end, I might have a job today and my husband has it today. But you know what happened? COVID, many people lost their jobs. If the man loses a job today, it's difficult in this country to immediately get another job.
It's
but
really,
if you have someone who is co-providing, use that, co-providing, it shouldn't be a stress if your lives,
I like that you've said it yourself. It's co-providing. And if you have someone who is co-providing is good, but why is it that most of the feminists are denying that point of, like, be a co-provider. It's okay. But don't be the supreme provider. Don't consider yourself the supreme provider. Or the first class provider. Or I don't know how we can call it. But I'm not saying that you cannot be able to provide the home. You can. But the moment you want to step in the position of the husband, just for the sake of, that competition that you want to create. There are some women who want to create that competition. You agree or not?
I agree because I hear a lot of experiences.
Yes. Some women who have taken this thing of gender equality as saying that the page should be the same. We should be on the same page 100%. And you've said it that biologically there are differences, and of course the culture that we come from. I don't want us to deny the fact that even the things we do today are guided by the culture. Our culture, where we come from, our upbringings, the schools we went to, the churches we go to, the way we see the world ourselves. But the moment you want to preach that we are equal online, people are going to bust you down. And I want you to be frank with me. Have you not seen, tweets on Twitter are from Rwandans that you say, Jesus Christ, this one is one of us, but you wouldn't say that. That's not true. Are there not things that really strikes you aware and say, no, this is not part of what you should be spreading?
Oh, yes, there are some instances, especially when it gets to take away rights of other people. For instance, that's mainly could strike me if you think that, there is a certain group of people that doesn't deserve to have their rights. That would strike me because I do believe that we are looking for equality, but we will cohabit in this world.
Sure.
So we need to live peacefully. When you I don't want to dwell on this conversation, but I want to first respond on the provision part that you said. I think that we are looking at the provision side when we talk about marriage, husband and wife. But for me, when I advocate for this, I'm even looking beyond that.
Teach me.
Yes, I'm looking beyond that. Because today we have girls and women who will just go to date with someone and expect someone else to pay the bill because they are not providers. If we do not, teach women that they should have access to finance, actually you should own your finances. If we do not have them, I know families that have, a husband dies and the family is done. She goes back home because she has never invested in herself. She has never owned anything. She has never worked for the money, and the livelihood of the family drops from up there to down there, and the family ends. She goes back home because she has never had access.
She was not empowered.
She was not empowered to have access to finance. Now, if you have access to finance as a woman, what does your finance do? It uplifts your family. So if we take away the notion that women should be providers, why would they strive to get finances? Provider, I'll be very happy to stay at home clean and you find me in the house. I'll be very happy to do that because it's not my role. I'm not entitled to that because that role is for someone else. Why would I strive? Working is stressful.
Very.
Waking up, going to work 9, going back home at 5. It's very, very stressful. But we know very much that women having access to finance is not only for the family, even the country. We have 50, I think it's 51 or 52% are women. We have only 48% who are men. Most of those are not working class because there are boy child, there are elder who are no longer working. You might find out that if women are not providers, we are relying maybe on 20% of the population. Who is going to pay those taxes? So it's not only the notion of the family, it is the country, it's the globe. How do we advance this together? To me, that women should be empowered to have access to finances, to be able also to lift their countries and their families. And the only way we can get to that is to tell them that it is their job. It is your job to do this. So if you take away that responsibility, I wouldn't mind not doing that. Yeah.
But on the finance part, I really concur with you, and I'm a strong believer that there's no reason for a woman to stay at home. She should go and work as well and provide for herself, even if you don't provide for me or for the family, but provide for yourself, because there are so many things you also need that maybe the husband cannot afford to provide the way you want them. Yes, it's worth it. Go and work for that. But there are also other things that, feminists advocate for that I want to learn from you, or what you think about. For instance, if someone goes on Twitter and writes that it's okay for me to go to Kisenyi, have fun in Kisenyi, and come back at 2 in the morning, anytime I want, and my husband should know that. However, like the way he can go out with his friends and spend their night and come back in the morning, it's the same way I should do it. Isn't that like spreading the fire on things that are basic, that we should be actually understanding that, come on, you're a mom, respect yourself first of all. Why would you be advocating that and take it online? At least if you are doing it, do it yourself at home. Do it with your husband and your family. Why are you telling other people that it's okay for a mother to leave kids at home and come 2 in the morning when he's going to have fun?
Well, actually,
you might think it's a basic thing that I've just asked, but it's really something big that is somehow even breaking families, and families means a lot for the country.
What I would say on this context is that we are actually making a big mistake trying to have a formula or a template on how families should live. Each family is unique. What I'm saying here is that maybe Arafat in your household, you use maybe, to have your T-shirt displayed by your wife and does this for you, and she loves it. And she loves it. In my household, I travel. If my husband is waiting for that treatment, he will never get it because, I travel a lot. I work a lot. I'm a student. I'm doing like I'm basically not home. If Arafat meets with my husband and they discuss about, how a wife should be, and my husband loves the fact that, my husband actually is true. He loves me.
So much.
He That's money.
That's good. That's
if I have to travel and it's like, okay, just go and get the bag as long as you come with the money.
that's a good character for a man, actually.
Yes. Okay, bring the money. And we have a lot of activities and projects that we have to do with the money. He doesn't care whatever people will say that he would just, he doesn't care. And he loves it. He loves the fact, everybody, there are men who love to see their wives do this stuff for them. The same as there are wives who love to see their men do this and that. If those people two meet, one want to place their values into the others. And this is why we are breaking homes, actually. So to mean that there is no template for how the family should live. I grew up, I told you I'm getting into my 40s. I have never seen my mom home. She has been working all the time. She fought a lot of battles because, she has always been a working mom. This is her fight. Because there are many people who believe that she should be doing this in the household. So there are women whom with their husbands, they are clear about their boundaries. You can go to Gisenyi and have fun, I can go, you go to Gisenyi, I go to Rusizi, we will meet 2 a.m. in the house. And that's how their livelihood is. And that's what they agreed. This is how they're committed to live with each other. And there are other people outside who are looking, and it freaks us out. And we believe that this man is teaching other men. You see, I have realized that even women are more scared when, their husbands are meeting with their friends outside because they're scared that they're learning things. This is the way also men are scared when their wives are meeting with other women because they feel that they are learning. So if your household is not strong enough to your values that you agree, as long as you both do what you agree upon, you will be easily shaken. Not even by feminist wave who are teaching women. Even normally care, where women go to share money, which recycle, someone might change easily. So it means that it's not feminists who will change homes. It's the foundation, the values of the homes. If your home goes with the wave, it will go. Because there is no there is no family that is the same as the other. The problem we have, we intend to have a template and a formula how a Rwandan family should live. And we intend to stick on that while we know that the situationship doesn't allow us. So I think that if you think that this man will learn from this random person online, trust me, this person is not stable enough. So I think that most of the time we blame feminists on matters that, the way you can just share about your podcast, what you did with your podcast, is the same as someone might share how they enjoy going to the Gisenyi and come at 2 a.m. Sometimes they're even sharing their own lives. So to mean that we are not silencing people we do not agree with because we fear that people might change. Of course, I know the power of ideology, but I also know the power of having your self-values. Yeah.
What do you think about, is there a template, let me ask this, is there a template for someone to be well conversant with feminism?
Well conversant, you mean?
Is there a way someone who calls themselves a feminist know what actually they have to say about feminism, or they have to ask for or advocate for?
Trust me, I'll tell you that there is, the same as there is no perfect leader, is the same way there is no perfect feminist. It's a constant learning. Because as the world changes, the problem keeps changing. The institutions change. Even marriage itself has changed its concept and narratives and all of that. So I wouldn't say that, this person is a perfect feminist. No, because we learn constantly.
But now what I want us to say is that someone might pop up just tomorrow and go online and write their opinions about feminism, about gender and equality. How do we tell that this one is not speaking from emotions?
Actually, yes, that happens a lot, that people will say that they are feminist, but actually maybe say something that is rooted into their trauma. That might not be true. That happens a lot. But at least for me, I applaud the courage of this person realizing that, I am this. For me, I don't blame them. Actually, I might take a step maybe to educate you more. For what I know, because I do believe that I also don't know everything. Maybe I might educate you a little bit more to what I think could be the principles of feminism, to what I think could be, even as maybe who started calling themselves feminists sometimes back, what you thought the other time could be different today. Because sometimes there is a relationship you have never navigated. When you navigate it, it gives you another angle. Maybe there is a workplace you haven't been through. When you get there, it gives you another angle. There is kind of, you see other women. I used to judge a lot. Women in high position. The reason why they do not become feminists. Why don't they champion this? Why don't they advocate for this? But there is a certain level you get into and you find out that they are fighting as well from where they sit. Maybe not online, but when you meet with them, you see that they are trying to bring changes from where they sit. So it's not everything that we don't see, that that it doesn't exist. So for me, if someone says that she or he is a feminist, because we even have men, and you find out that what they're saying is actually wrong, I don't expect anyone to be a scholar of feminism. They can contradict themselves. And I contradicted myself so many times. So it's very important to have that empathy, but also allow people to learn. It's the same as someone might say that they are learning maybe in the faculty of English, but they are grammatically wrong. Yeah. It doesn't remove the fact that they are learning English. They are English students, but it's just their way of coming out, and you be able to help them. Yeah.
I mean, you're one of the people that have talked about the sex.
Them like, you mostly go to this side. What if we go to this side and all of that? And they go to production. And then she asked her husband if she can
join.
She can join. When she joined, actually it was uncomfortable for her because, when men are together at night, that encouragement they give to each other, sometimes they even talk about stuff that make you uncomfortable. And then she decided to have her own boat, small boat, to do it by herself. And later she was joined by so many women. And they did an association of fisher women in Kivu. They have a big association. They have built their own houses. They are empowering their families. They are stepping forward. This is actually the activism we are talking about.
Then welcome to the Voices Podcast. Yeah, the Voices Podcast.